Okay, good afternoon. Hello, everyone. Okay, so I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much. I would like to thank Shunya Meditation Studios. I would like to thank Shunyati International Foundation for giving me this opportunity to give a talk here today. And thank you so much for being a part of it. I am so much inspired by the work of Shunyati, Dr. Rajesh, Dr. Lin. They're doing so much amazing work. So I'm very, very glad to be a part of this talk today and be able to share my thoughts with you. Today, the topic of the talk is what is reality? What is reality is such a vast topic, it may seem, or it may also be so easy. What is reality? Why is it so important for us to know what is reality? Isn't it so obvious? Why do we even need to discuss what is reality? What's big thing about it? But I'm sure if you listen to what I have to say, maybe you will find something interesting. So let me start with an incident which happened with me about 3 years back. In that incident, I was one morning just working at home on my laptop, and I received a call. And in that call, it was a police officer, and he told me that there's a complaint on my mobile number. Somebody had registered a FIR on my phone number, saying that some harassment calls are going out from this number. And now that there is an FIR, I need to be present at the police station. Or if I don't, then they may just block my number and take some action against me. So, hearing all that, I was so shocked. I was afraid. What's happening? So, I asked, where are you calling from? He says, he's calling from Mumbai, and I need to come down immediately to the police station. So, I got really scared as to what's happening. So, I said, I am in Pune, I cannot come to Mumbai. And so he says, no problems. We will do an online call. We'll get you a Skype ID, you can connect. So I said, okay. So by the time they shared the Skype ID with me, and I started to think what's really going on. And I went to the browser, I started searching what's happening. Is there, what kind of a complaint this is, complaint on my number and so on. So I saw some links which said that there is some kind of a scam going on. And I started reading that. By the time the Skype started and there was a police officer there, and he was trying to tell me that this is a very serious offense and you are now in a very serious trouble. And at the side, I was reading about this scam and how it operates. So as I was reading, I suddenly lost my fear about this, and I realized that this is a scam which is happening right now, and I am going to get caught into it. So then I took a deep breath and I kind of told him that maybe I will look into it and get back to you. I switched it off and then relaxed. So, what does this kind of story tell us? So, if somebody is trying to tell what the reality is all about, and you believe in that without investigating what it is all about, it may cause a lot of trouble to you. It will give a lot of suffering. But at the same time, the moment you understand what's happening behind the scenes, and you understand how it all works, suddenly you see the big picture. You see that there is nothing to be worried about. So, very important to understand the reality in the right way. If you don't understand the reality in the right way, it may cause you suffering. It may cause you some anxiety. So, that's the background or the context in which I am trying to present to you what is reality and why it is important for us to investigate what it is all about. So, reality includes not only you, not only the whole world in which we are living, but also what you think about it and how you understand it. So, my journey of starting to understand reality started really when I was in my high school. And at that time, maybe I was in my 8th standard or 9th standard. And my science books and my science teachers were teaching me about the states of matter, solid, liquid, gas, and all, and how everything is composed of atoms and molecules, and how that kind of creates all our existence. And the ideas of the past, like what is an atom? So, people from really ancient times, Greek times, and all, they were investigating what is the nature of reality. What is matter? What do we see? How do we really understand what all this is all about? So, in the ancient times, they used to say that matter is composed of indivisible small particles, which is called as atoms. Atoms by itself means not divisible. And that kind of an idea was prevalent for so many centuries. Now, eventually, as scientists started exploring more about the nature of atoms, they tried to find that smallest particle. They realized that, okay, within atoms also there is something else. So, what was that? Then there is some small nucleus inside, which contains even smaller particles like protons, neutrons. And then around that nucleus, electrons are revolving. And then, depending on the number of electrons, you have different types of elements. So, this is the kind of explanation of reality which was taught to us in the schools. So, as I was reading all that, I became very interested. So, I started reading some more scientific books. And then I read how scientists are investigating the nature of reality, the nature of matter. It was so fascinating to understand how scientists are doing their experiments, how they are trying to understand what's happening. In fact, the understanding of atom and the nature of ultimate reality went even more bizarre with the coming of quantum theory. In fact, which said that there are no electrons. There is only the probability of electron. So it's only an energy field, and in that, only if you look, you may find an electron. If you don't look, you don't know what's there. So, reading all these scientific theories uh, was really exciting, So, I was following the scientific discoveries, and it was so exciting, like a mystery, like a detective story, how one kind of theory changes and then that gets discontinued and some new theory comes and you say now this is the way you should look at reality. Then some other scientist comes and says no, 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 that is also not enough, now you must look at it like this and like that. So exciting. But then as you read more and more of this, you will realize that even scientists themselves have very less understanding of what's really going on. They are just making some hypothesis about what may be the nature of reality. It's not sure, it's only an hypothesis. Maybe today's hypothesis is there is some kind of string, there is a string theory. Some people talk of God particles. So, all these are just hypotheses. Nobody really knows inside what's the nature of reality. How does it really matter to us? For us, we are living, we sleep, we wake up, we eat food, we do our work. For us, it doesn't seem to have any problem. There is no repercussion, there is no implication of it. So, how do we connect what science is trying to tell us versus what is our nature of reality today? Of course, whatever science comes up in them terms of their discoveries, they make some um goods for us to use, some products for us to use. So we see the benefits all of that, but we may not know how it all works. So I reached a limit in my understanding also, along with the scientists, as to what could be the nature of reality. So eventually my exploration reached a point that what you see outside may be not the right way to go about it. How you look at things, how you explore itself could be the way to understand more. Which means, what is our instrument of exploration? Our instrument of exploration is our mind. Without understanding the mind, your way of understanding reality is totally limited. So you must first understand your mind, using which you are trying to understand the nature of reality. Because mind itself is also real, and that is your way of looking at reality. So then how to understand the mind? So when I started reading more about it, the way people say, to understand the mind, you need to observe it. And to observe, you must sit and meditate. So by sitting and meditating, you can observe your mind, and then you can see how your mind works in terms of trying to understand reality. So now the complete dimension has changed. Till now, I was just reading more books, trying to understand what is the nature of reality. But now, by leaving the books aside, I started observing how my mind is looking at things, at what is happening around me. So this gave me a lot of insights. For example, number one, everything that we know is some kind of a concept, is some sort of an idea. Whatever we see around us, although we see things, but we understand them through an idea, through a concept. So maybe if this is a glass of water, then there is water. I can touch the glass, I can drink the water, and I can experience the sensation of that water going down my mouth and my throat. But then I make an idea that I am drinking water. Okay, what I'm doing? I'm drinking. So I could talk about like this about anything. I can talk about a pen, I can talk about my glasses, this kimono is there, this is a chair, that's a camera. If I look around, that's a painting, there's some light. So as soon as I see something, there is an idea associated with it. There is a word. At the most simplest level, there is a word. For everything, there is a word. This is a meditation mat. This is a floor. This is a ceiling. That's an AC, right? Using these words and these ideas, then I make some more ideas. So by combining all these things, now there is a room, and then we are in this building, and then this building is in this locality, and this locality is in this city, and then cities in this state and country, and so on, right? So there is a level of abstraction that we create out of nothing, and all these ideas then occupy our mind. So we stop looking at reality as it is. We start looking at reality through our lens of words and ideas and concepts. And as soon as we see the reality through these concepts, we stop seeing the reality directly. If you are following me so far, what I'm trying to point out is that what is there actually does not have any word, it does not have any name. By giving a name, we try to distinguish different things, and we create many things out of that reality. And once we have many things, then we try to create even many more things, and we call that as knowledge. So by creating more knowledge, we feel that we are understanding something about reality. But we never question that. And we reach a point that our knowledge reaches a limit, because you can create more concepts, but creating more concepts does not make you understand more about reality, right? So is it possible to directly see without using any concepts? If you can, you will be able to see something really amazing. Okay, before we do that, maybe you can do a small exercise. If you look around and imagine, or not imagine, just describe what's all around you, then I can just look around and say, okay, we are in a large room. There are so many meditation mats. There are curtains on the windows. There are paintings on the wall. There is light on the ceiling. And the sunlight is coming through the windows. So I'm trying to describe what's happening. But is my description really capturing the entire reality of what's happening right now? I may not even be touching the tip of the iceberg here. There are so many things which are happening right now. There is the AC, the air is flowing, I am breathing, you are breathing. And this is just in this room. But what about things which are happening outside? There are cars moving around. There is the music which is playing in the background. There are so many people doing so many things. Can I really describe all of that by talking about it? I cannot, because it will take infinite time, it will take infinite amount of explanation and words and concepts to explain what's going on, right? So but we can shorten it in one word. Okay, we are sitting here. That also can capture what's going on. We can also say nothing is going on, because in a way nothing is going on. We say something is going on, that's why it is creating that, right? So description of reality cannot capture what is reality. No amount of books, no amount of explanation can actually describe what is reality. So can we just drop it? If you just drop it, your mind becomes silent. If you have no ideas in your mind, if your mind becomes silent, then whatever you see, whatever you listen to, is the reality. It will have no name, it will have no ideas, there will be no explanation, no description, but you will be able to completely experience it. You may not be able to give a name to your experience, but you will be able to experience it and be with it. I think that's good enough. If you want to directly understand reality, be with that experience, be with reality, not by naming what it is, but by being with it. But sometimes for us it's not possible, because we have been trained to name things. Since childhood, all children, as they grow up, we teach them, okay, this is a cow, this is a dog, this is a bird. So as soon as we see something, we give it a name, and then we understand, oh, this is a cat and this is a dog. We don't see it. We just see it directly through the ideas. So that becomes a limitation for us. And that actually creates our suffering in a way that, because of all these ideas, we get ideas about past, ideas about future, and then we create our own anxiety around it. The moment we stop having those ideas and directly experiencing what's going on, we will already be at peace. No need to search for anything. Are we following? Right. So maybe I will stop here, and if you have any questions, we can take.
Last part.
Yeah.
The last part. Can you just reiterate that?
Yeah. The essence of what I'm trying to say is, whatever we understand is through some idea or through some concept. And that concept has its limitations. It cannot capture what's happening. It cannot capture the reality. It cannot capture what is really going on, right? So, to explain even 1 second of what's really going on, I may need thousands and millions of books to explain just what's happening in this moment. And even that may not be enough, right? Because by the time I'm explaining, that moment has gone, another moment has come in, so something new is happening. So explanation, description can never capture what's going on. So if you want to know what's going on, we have to drop all explanation and all descriptions. Can we see, can we listen without any idea, without any description? If we can, then you are directly in touch with reality, with the experience. And that's good enough. What we normally do is to understand reality, I start reading a book. And then I get more confused. And at the end of the book, I don't get my answer. I am still dissatisfied. So why not just leave all the books aside and directly experience as it is?
The reality is as it is. We need to use words to explain that. Even to explain reality while using words matters. We need some little bit, but we need.
Yeah. If you are already caught up in words, then you need somebody to point out that you are caught up in words. Look at reality without it. So, to tell you that, of course, I have to use some words, right? This is the nature of human beings. We have to learn words to get on with our life. Nothing wrong with it. But by being caught up in words, we lose touch with reality. If you lose touch with reality, then you are caught up on your anxiety, your suffering, your struggles, and everything. Do all of that, but you must have a way to come back to reality.
To knowledge is much important, but experience is important. To experience the things or experiencing is important more than labeling things, knowledge, anything. We are labeling them.
Be aware of your labeling. Use the labeling, use the naming till the time it is important. You must have a way to be in touch with reality. Don't ever lose touch with that by trying to capture reality with some ideas and concepts and words, because it will never happen. So, for example, what are people really after? People run after success, people seek happiness because they make happiness as an idea, they make success as a concept, and then that they try to translate as to how it will look. So, they are running after concepts: happiness, success, peace. As soon as you lose those concepts and you're touch with reality, you already have that.
But now, real situation is just right now going on because as you give the example of success and then the happiness. How is there any other
Anything you want it to relate it to. Like any situation.
that's a what can be a one more example to understand it better?
Any situation which you are facing, which you feel like you labeled or tagged.
Like, I understand the concept. Is this not getting confused with that? Say, there is a one more example that relate that to this.
I would rather request you to experience what's happening right now, rather than trying to understand another example conceptually. Can you experience what's happening right now? Right? If you can experience right now, then that's all that is needed. All your anxiety, all your suffering exists in the realm of concepts. So you come out of it. You must get a way out of it, not go deep into it. Find your way out. All right, Dhruv. Thank you.
So Vichi, there are online questions. I think it was pretty clear you were trying to convey, and because this is we have named it as part one, we put it out there. People can watch, and
Yeah.
for part two, we can have a question. But thank you so much for today, and we'll end this session here.
Is it ended?